Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna start it before you get sat down so that we can do the pledge. Okay. Okay, at this time, I'm gonna call this meeting to order. I'm gonna start by taking roll from my right, please.
Walter Snyder. Don Goodman.
Elida Snow.
Rob Thomas.
P.G. Zimmerman.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Okay, at this time, I will take any brief statement from any audience member on any try that again. At this time, I will take any comments on any non-agenda item from the audience.
So you just stand right here.
Talk loud so that
All right.
can hear you.
So my name is Samantha Nagel, and I'd like just a few moments of your time tonight, please. I want to recognize a few people, not only in our district, but in our community, who are, in my eyes, and in a lot of the eyes of a lot of people here, are true pillars in our community. They're selfless, tireless workers who show up and give their time and their hearts so that others, especially our kids, are safer, they're stronger, and they're better supported. Every community has people who seem to have more hours in the day than the rest of us, simply because they choose to spend theirs serving others. The same person who gives up an entire Saturday to stand in the sun for 8+ hours moving pegs at a track meet for javelin is the same person who shows up at 2 a.m. when your house is on fire. These are individuals who could be spending time with their families or for themselves, yet they step in when no one else will, and they take on jobs that others might shy away from. I'd like to first recognize with my deep admiration and gratitude Scott Beagle. Scott is a true community pillar who consistently shows up for our schools, for our students, and for our community. When no one else would coach girls basketball, Scott stepped up. When we needed a strong leader to step into that principal role, Scott stepped up. And he hasn't just filled those roles. He has shown what it looks like to lead with integrity and to do the right thing simply because he cares. When I taught under Scott's leadership, I always, and I mean always, felt supported and felt that Scott genuinely cared about his teachers, not just as his staff, but as people and humans. The second person that I would like to recognize tonight is Nick Rayford's. And I know that when we recognize Nick, we also have to recognize his amazing wife, April. Together, they spend countless hours volunteering their time, countless hours. I mean, from sunup till sundown. They are volunteering their time for the good of the schools and for our community, but most importantly, for our youth. When I'm picking up my son for practice at 7 p.m., Nick is there setting up for the next day's event or moving a trailer or putting out cones or doing whatever he needs to do at 7 p.m. at night. He could be home with his young family, but instead he's making sure that everything runs smoothly. He's the one that's opening the gym at 6 a.m. so kids can get in extra shots or spend time in the weight room. He's the coach that my son and daughter adore and look up to because he encourages them and he pushes them to believe in themselves. And they wanted to be here tonight, but they had other obligations. But all while teaching them how to respect people, and he also teaches them discipline through his love and through his coaching. And the best part, He doesn't do it for recognition. He could care less. He does it because he believes every child deserves an opportunity to succeed and grow. When there are 3 sporting events in one day, or 4, or music, or band, he makes sure that everything gets done. If there's a last minute that arises, Nick makes sure that it happens because he cares. Nick and April give countless hours to our school, our community, and especially to our youth, and for that, we should all be incredibly grateful. I would also like to point out that years after years of being a teacher, it has become evidently clear to me that you can tell a lot about a person based on how their children act. And you couldn't find one teacher or coach or person who don't adore Zaid and Lakin Raybirds. These are the 2 of the kindest and most respectful kids that you'll ever come across. And I attribute that to how their parents model that behavior and how they show respect towards teachers and coaches. So I'd like to close by saying this. In a world where it's easy to have an opinion, but harder to step up, where doing the hard things is often left to someone else, there's still good people. And people who serve not because they will be rewarded, but because it's who they are. There are always going to be people who look for the bad, who look for vengeance in this world and try to tear others down. But someone once told me to look at the forest through the trees. Scott and Nick are 2 people who make our community immeasurably better. So I encourage all of us to take a moment to notice all the small things, the quiet acts of service that often go unseen and unappreciated. And I hope tonight, when you vote for Nick Raybirds, that you know that he is the best person for that position.
Thank you. Okay, anybody else? Okay, we are gonna move on then to our setting of our July monthly meeting. This is our break.
Sure.
I do need a motion, please.
I so move.
I have a motion by Fiji and a second by Ron to approve Monday, July 13th, 6:30, our regular board meeting. Any questions or comments? Okay.
We meet on Wednesday for our year-end wrap-up. And it's also the transition. We've got some grade levels that are changing who will be their SLT rep. So I'm grateful that both reps will be there to look at our end of year data to make decisions moving forward for instruction for next school year. Summer school did start today. We had quite the turnout, so that was very positive. Yeah. Transportation, we had to run 2 vehicles, so
Whoa.
yeah, that's what I said, so it's a good thing.
4 days a week? Or
4 days a week, 4 days, half a day, so 8 to noon or 8 to 12:30, yeah.
Thank you.
For behavioral, we were under the amount of referrals from the previous months, made from last board meeting to now. There was quite a few less, I think, looking at it for field trips and water fight, kids wanted to attend those. So that's always a good thing. We had a great finish to the school year behaviorally. I have not that many issues, even last week.
And then we had some good family and community engagement and other events to wrap up the school year. The kindergarten lunch on the lawn was a great success. It brought out lots of families, and there was even a couple of first grade classes that also participated. So we had families from grades kinder and first all eating outside, and the weather participated well. So that was great. We also had our annual water fight that brought support from the Forest Service, which is always a great partnership. And the fun it's 30 minutes, but like the best fun of all year. So it was a great turnout. We even had law enforcement came and supported as well, and some board members. So, you know, everybody just has a great time with that event. So it's a great annual thing that happens at LES. And also the 6th grade celebration was very meaningful. The 6th grade team does a fantastic job of planning and bringing everybody together. It was a packed house to honor the outgoing grade 6 students. So also a great tradition at the elementary school.
Parent council, we had a pretty good turnout for the refreshing of the flower beds in front of LES. If you haven't had a chance to look at them, they look really, really good. There's 3 pictures down below to look at, but a lot of donations from Konauer Trucking, as well as the members that were there. They look much improved. No grass. It was it wasn't very good looking, let me tell you that. That's it.
Okay, thank you guys.
I will keep this short as well. Just to show you, I'm showing you when we started in September, we had 508 kids, kind of that first week of school. We ended up with 460, so we were down 48 kids that we lost throughout the year. You can kind of see where the grade levels were at. About 15 of those kids were like transfers to charter school, so we didn't necessarily lose them out of our school district, just out of the middle high school. So again, we've talked about losing kids to homeschool and some other factors. So still just kind of gonna keep working on why we lose these kids and trying to keep them enrolled in our school. So decision day, Bureau does this every year. There's some more presentations, a couple of the kids that just kind of what they're doing next year, if they're going military, workforce, trades, college. Those are little certificates to say where they're going. We graduated, 56 kids walked across the stage during graduation. About 20 of them are heading to college. I think there was 4 going to the military, and the rest were going into the workforce. So it's just kind of a fun day. It's kind of that full cycle. Those kids with the year from the time they start in 7th grade till to their senior year. The welding kids, usually kids that went over to FBCC to do their welding certificate. There were 15 that went over, and I believe 7 of them actually ended up passing and getting their ES whatever certificate. So usually 50% is kind of usually where we end up being. some of these kids are younger and they'll take welding again next year, they'll go back to be certified. So most of our seniors are the ones that actually complete their certification. So always kind of a cool experience for them. Grad walk, I think this is actually one of the more fun things that we do at the end of the year. Obviously our seniors go back to the elementary school and they do a fantastic job coming out in the hallways and just celebrating our kids graduating. That it was the one thing that our seniors were looking forward to. And then we had from practice, rehearsal to the grad walk, every single senior showed up to do it. So that tells me that it means something to them as well. So kind of just a kind of cool 15 minutes that we do. So then there's just all the seniors right there in the locker by the lockers in the orange pod. So and then just we'll talk about it later today, but the high school math teacher that I hired about 7 weeks ago, quit the other day. And then Mr. Mills, my social studies teacher, just resigned. He is going back to Indiana, back to his wife's hometown. So, and then we're still just looking for a special education teacher. So maintenance, we don't have any this summer. We're just gonna call it good. Why there's a slide, I'm not sure, but I'll be meeting with my maintenance staff tomorrow. Just there's the big maintenance stuff that Mr. Goodman has on his document, just the little things that just cosmetic around our buildings to make things just kind of look nice. Painting garbage cans, painting some hallways, just getting some things cleaned up. That we'll meet tomorrow to kind of get that laid out. I didn't put on there, but we start summer school tomorrow. Same thing, we run 4 days a week for half days. 25 to 30 kids will probably have doing strictly just kind of recovery for our high school. So that's all I got.
Okay, behavior. I just had a snapshot of last year to this year, 7 through 12. There was quite a few more this year. The 7th grade really stood out as a challenging group. A lot of great kids. It was a busy year with that. What? Overall, I think there was maybe 200 or so more than last year. So, but they're gonna mature over the summer and be great graders. I think Tuesday seems like it was to be I don't know why, but a little higher, much higher this year. But the others kind of balance out. Maybe there's more kids coming to school Tuesday and they don't come Monday. I'm not sure. Friday, a lot of times we have half the school there because of activities. Excellent. Referrals per day, per month. Again, last year, this year, October this year was a big time of referrals. I'm not sure why that is, but that just gives a snapshot of, last year, this year, and how it laid out throughout the year. Time wise, the 2 times that were high, last year I think it was kind of like 11 o'clock is right before middle schoolers go to lunch, and at between 1:30 and 2 they're doing electives, and so again it was kind of high in those areas. So something to think about for next year to try to, or no, I guess electives are going to be in the morning next year, so better outlet for them in the afternoon. 10 snapshot, I think much better than last year. We're averaging the 90s this year. Those are just the high school numbers there. I think that was pretty good turnout in attendance. And then 7th and 8th grade, again, they were both up just a little bit, but a positive as far as kids coming to school. 8th grade Silverwood trip. Seemed like they had a really good time. They spent a lot of time and energy raising money for it. It cost them about $4,000, and the big part of that is the bus and the bus driver. But they all seemed like they had a pretty good time the ones that I talked to. There's just some individual pictures. I don't know, Zay's already got a sugar high there, or he's about to. 8th grade award assembly. So that was June 5th on Thursday. So the last day for 8th graders. There was a welcoming that Dale Germany asked to do because I think it was just a really good person who has kind of seen what was in the past when she was at the middle school, compared to high school, how different it is now. We also had the junior class president, vice president, speak some words of wisdoms into the 8th graders, some just tips. And that was Emma Barnes and Clara Fantazzi. We're also the junior and senior, the senior vice president this year. GPAs, we gave some awards for 4.0s, and that's includes 7th and 8th grade. So the middle school career, there was 9 that had that, 23 that were recognized with 3.5s. And then some areas of the departments were, and those were all student voted by the students. They felt was the top student, not maybe necessarily academically, but just was a team player and had a really good attitude. So they were all recognized with a certificate. We'll go to the next slide there, Stacy. And then they also had some fun awards that were all student voted too. And those who won those, I think the kids really enjoyed it. A lot of kids don't get recognized sometimes. Some do. And with the 8th grade pictures and their baby pictures slideshow. So I think overall it's pretty good success. Nick?
Athletic updates, just so everybody knows, the concession stands that we do, we hire our programs that want to make money so that they can earn some money. And it is amazing what we actually paid out this year. Our concession stands since Brittany Millen does a phenomenal job. We've made more money in concessions than we have ever. And this is what we paid out to the programs that worked it. So a total of almost $8,500 that our programs made helping out run concessions. It was pretty cool to see that this year. It was one of the biggest payout years we've had. So that was exciting. Softball, our Lady Largers went to state. They took second in the conference and they went 2 and 4 at the state tournament. It was a fun state tournament. I have not had so many people come up to me in a state tournament and say, who is this Libby team before? Like everybody was wild by them. They had a rough go the second morning, but they were really fun to watch, and we didn't have a single senior on the team. So it's going to be fun again next year. But there's our all state or all conference awards, which was pretty neat this year. We had a good turnout. Track, our all conference and our all state list. And then Dan Rose just gave me some facts that he dug up. Well, if you guys ever want to know facts about any racing in the state of Montana, Dan Rose is the guy you need to ask. Haley Meisner is the number 9 on Libby's all-time list for the 200 meter this year. She ended up 12th at state. There was a pretty fast heat this year. Cody Watson finished 7th in the 1600 and the 32. He moved up to number 4 in the 1600, number 5 in the 3200 for all-time Libby records. Tristan Anderson took 5th in the high jump and the javelin, and he is now the number 6 for the furthest javelin throw in Libby High School history. Capri Farmer, as we all know, Capri is pretty outstanding. She ended up 3rd in the 1600 and the 3200 this year, and it was the fastest Class A race that has ever taken place. The first place and the second place broke the old state record. And Capri was very close. She did a good job. Her 1600 meter time would have won every other classification in Montana this year. Our Class A is stacked with really good runners right now, which is good for Capri. Let's see. She lowered her school record in the 3200 by 30 seconds this year. And second in the 16 meter and 3rd in the 800 meter in Libby's all-time list. And the 800 meters kind of a new race for her. On the list of the fastest times ever run at the state meet, Capri in the 1600 is number 5 in all forever. And in the 3200, she's number 7 in Montana history. Other records set this year by Capri. She set the county record in both the 3200, the 1600. She also set our Lager Stadium record in the 3200 meter. So she had a phenomenal year again. Baseball, all conference list. We had 2 make the all conference list in their first year of baseball, and now both those guys are playing for the Legion program. Is there one more? I can't remember. Summer weight room's up and running. Today I was in there. We had a large number of kids in the weight room. We also have champ camp that started today, so our gym was pretty busy. And then the coaches clinic this year, those are the coaches who have already signed up to go, and I think also our new basketball coach is gonna go with us. So that's the ones that have committed.
Thank you. And Ron, you are next.
I'll get some CTE updates. This week we met with FBCC and other industry professionals. The goal, they were here in this room, establish apprenticeships, which kind of sounds interesting and not what we've done in the past. But there's some real reasons why they're doing it. The issue is apprenticeships has helped labor shortages and improve student outcomes. FBCC is working to help us establish pathways for our students. Kind of a real team process. And I guess we'll talk a little more about that. But there is just a lot of energy going into career technical education right now, and a lot of good options. Next slide. Oh, congratulations, Gallagher's. This is kind of fun for me because Christy and Tom, we went to school together, and so Christy got us through all of those classes. Actually, Tom, you can admit it. So yes, so it was kind of a fun event for me as well, and of course, family. So, congratulations, Mr. Gallagher. Next slide. Oh, we have Summer Institute coming right up, June 15th to the 18th, and we part of what our literacy grant, and then also some other professional development would be very good. So, slide. That's the polyurethane. Mr. Rayward's shop is being clogged up with, but that was, I don't know if they didn't want it in the sun or just were concerned of it being so expensive that somebody tied off with it, but we got that all taken care of, and that's getting ready to move. I think they'll probably be doing that tomorrow. Nick, did you hear anything?
I didn't, but I think tomorrow is the plan.
Yeah, so they've got equipment and all the rubber and all that kind of stuff stacked.
They were taking me to Hawaii first to check out.
I'll talk to them about that.
Yeah.
They forgot.
So that's coming together pretty quickly. Next slide. Metal shop decisions and this storage project. This is kind of a good deal. One of the big issues that we're trying to do is, and we've been collecting information from a lot of professionals in our community, that row of equipment on the far right. One of the I think at this point the leading goal is to move some of the lathes that are on the left side and move those at a 45-degree angle against the windows. And that goal is to get the CNC machine in here, the Haas. And so I think there's plenty of room. It's just difficult to say you want to take something out that makes any sense. But I think it's going to be a good move for our community and for our students. Slide. Yeah, roof work. So I will start off with this. I told Mr. Gallagher this. If the Buildings and Grounds Committee is invested in the roofs, and we're getting maintenance as well as some of the roofs that need to be fixed. And it would be possible that when it rains, it won't rain in our buildings. So that's, I think we did this 4 or 5 years now, and almost 6 years in a row where we've had replaced a roof or fixed a roof. And so I think we're starting to catch up, and I'm sort of hoping that would be a very good deal. That one on the roof on the high school gym is a perturbing problem because it's still under warranty, but it looks like something bad happened to it. And they are no longer in business in this area. The company that made that roof is still in business, and it's a worthwhile company. So but they're supposed to come and check it and do some work for us, but they have not yet come. And I think it's because they're on the East Coast. But hopefully we'll get this pushed through. It's just gonna have to be pestering them, otherwise they'll want us to go away. Yeah. Oh, and here's some other, like this whole issue of things keep coming. think it's worth looking at this. Incentives for school. STARS Act gives incentives for career and technical education pathways. And then underneath it, we have this new program coming out, American Advanced Manufacturing Incentive Fund. I don't know if I've ever heard any, that this is coming up a lot. And again, this push for people to come out of school into a training facility or anything that has to do with industry. And just for some of my own personal information on this, Janicki Industries is out of Cedar Woolley, Washington. They also have a factory in Ogden, Utah. And if you've read the news lately, Great Falls is going to pick up another factory from Janicki. And Janicki does all sorts of they do all sorts of different things, but lots of it is defense contracting. And it's a very good company. So I just see this taking place where there is going to be a heavy push for skills in the trades because there isn't any, we're running out of space for people that are going to be able to do this. And so I think we really need to gear up for this because it's going to happen. And even in our own community, we have Nomad that is going to be looking to hire a bunch of people as well. So this, I think, is kind of our goal is to try and stay in front of it and not be too flat-footed on them. Other than that, I don't think there's another slide. I'm not sure. I don't think there. Okay, very good.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Then we are going to be moving on to personnel. It looks like we have a couple of resignations. If I could get a motion, please. Yeah.
I make a motion that we accept the resignation of Cooper Mills for social studies and coaching. And John Browen for LMHS math.
Second,
I have a motion by BG and a second by Rob to approve the resignation of Cooper Mills as Libby Middle High School Social Studies and Coaching roles, and John Broyne as Libby Middle High School Math. Any questions or comments? All those in favor, please raise your hand. All those opposed, motion passed. Okay, then moving on to consideration of staff contracts. I think we'll probably go ahead and just do each of them individually since they are fairly different. Let's go ahead and start with Larry Wells.
I make a motion that we accept Larry Wells as the LMHS paraprofessional and LHS assistant basketball coach.
I have a motion by Rob and a second by Ron to approve Larry Wells in those positions listed. Any questions or comments? All those in favor, please raise your hand. All those opposed, motion passed. Okay, Amanda Williams.
I'll make motion to hire Amanda Williams as LMHS paraprofessional.
Second.
I have a motion by Walt and a second by Cody to approve Amanda Williams as Libby Middle High School paraprofessional. Any questions or comments?
Just so you guys know, Amanda actually currently works. She's one of our custodians at the middle high school. So she wants to work through the summer doing maintenance. So probably in August or July we'll need to be looking for to rehire somebody new and then for nighttime custodian at the high school.
Oh, okay.
So you guys know that.
Part of that process, moving up process. I love it. Okay. All those in favor, please raise your hand. All those opposed, motion passed. Okay, moving on to Kathy Obst, third offered contract.
I move that we accept Kathy Oates for third contract, hired 24-25. So this is the third one. Just check.
Okay.
Second.
I have a motion by BG and a second by Walt to approve the hiring of Kathy Obst. Third offered contract. Any questions or comments? All those in favor, please raise your hand. All those opposed? Motion passed. Okay, moving on to Nick Raywitz as Activities Director. Motion, please.
I move that we offer Nick Roberts the activity director position.
I have a motion by BG and a second by Rob to approve Nick Raywitz as Activities Director. Any questions or comments? Yes, please.
It made my retired teacher and activities coach for years. Just a little history because I'm guilty of this too. School districts have short memories. When middle school was at the middle school, they had their own activities coordinator. They had their own budget, and the high school had their own activities coordinator, director, and budget. And the district made the correct move, I think, to move the middle school into the high school. The middle school activities coordinator and budget did not come with them. Well, we brought all the kids and all the activities, but not the funds or the director. And so it fell upon the activity director at the high school and the coordinator to take that up with the same budget they had for the high school to do high school and middle school. It's quite a challenge. And a lot of this fell on the man that you're recommending for activities director. So this would go a long way in making this right, because he just done a great job of that over the years. And it's a big job. It's one of the rare 7 through 12 activities coordinators. And I just hope you approve it.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Questions or comments? Please.
As a former activity coordinator, I also hope that you will recommend his job. I've observed and feel he's done an excellent job following the path. I appreciate his efforts. And Dolly Crum, I was the activity coordinator some years ago.
Thank you very much. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'll speak to that. So more for the board members, at the last meeting, Tony asked a question, Mr. Revo, whether or not what we were voting on, and it was said we were just voting on the job description. And you verified that. You said, yes, it's only a job description, not wages or schedule, half-time, full-time. Then before even the next board meeting, you posted a job, Mr. Goodman, including wages and half-time, full-time, contradicting what you told all of us board members. So for all the board members, that's kind of a pretty disrespectful to think that they can just unilaterally post wages, and you can't. There's no provision to allow the superintendent to post wages unilaterally, right? You have to have buy-in. The activities director, what Mr. Roshin is, it comes from the admin salary. If you look at the admin salary, there is no activities director on that matrix. There is no activities director in the CBA. So I have a question as how we got to a $50,000 half-time position, which is far more than our current administrators are getting. If you broke them down by half-time, how did we get to that number without a formula?
There was a formula developed by the business office, and I believe that Columbia Falls was the example and what they based it off of.
We need to develop our own formulas. That's what I'm saying. Columbia Falls doesn't dictate our pay scale.
Well, we did, but that was kind of an example of how they based it off.
Yeah,
We
and
did
I like
create our
the
own
use
formula.
of Columbia Falls because they posted, as you know, $75,000 to $85,000 for a full time. That's far less than what we are paying, and theirs has an administration degree as well, required there. In fact, if you look at OPI, almost every activities director, I only found one that doesn't have an admin degree, preferred. So we're out of the norm on that as well, but I would really like to see the matrix and how the board, how can the board allow the superintendent, let's say we needed a dean of students. We need a dean of students at the grade school, LES. Mr. Goodman can just say, well, we're gonna make a dean of students $50,000 halftime, and then they're gonna be sped teacher, whatever, the other halftime. You can't do that. This board needs to, we need to have a little bit more say here, and unfortunately, Ms. Snow and Mr. Goodman are going to continue to do this until the board kind of puts their foot down. That's not to say, Mr. Rayward couldn't be the activities director. That was established a long time ago. I thought you had to have an admin degree. The lawyer fixed that in our meeting in December. That was brought to my attention that you don't in the state of Montana have to have that. Fair enough. But she also did explain to Ron and Elida that the wage would need to be significantly reduced. All the stipend pay would be gone, leaving an $80,000 plus or minus wage for that position. That was explained very clearly. So now if you take that $80,000, but you go half time to 50, that's absolutely not following the legal advice. So I hope the board members think about that. I'm not arguing who can or cannot be the activities director. What I'm arguing is the wages. I'm accountable to, we as board members are supposed to be accountable to the taxpayer. How do we have an activities director position making thousands more dollars than our administrators who have to work? Our administrators, assistant principals have to work 20 extra days to get their salary. The principals have to work 30 extra days to get their salaries. And we're gonna pay an employee far more than that.
But
than
we
our
are not,
administrators.
we are not paying him for one job. He is making $50,000 for athletic director. And then his other job is halftime teaching.
Sure.
So you're making it seem like we're paying more for him to do his job when we are not. That's not, he's doing halftime teacher, which is one job, and he's doing athletic director, which is another job. He's not making more than our administrators for doing an athletic director job. If another employee wants to do 14 jobs and all that money adds up to being more than an administrator, good for them, because they're putting in the work and they're putting in the time. So I just want to clarify that he's not making more than administrators by doing for his athletic director position. Does that make sense?
Well, I mean, however you want to look at it, if he's halftime activities director, if anybody, and it doesn't really matter, I really don't care. Pick Joe Bob, activities director. We're paying Joe Bob $50,000 to be halftime activities director. Now, if you split Mr. Roshin's wages in half, we're not paying him $50,000 to be an administrator. We're paying him considerably less. And in fact, if Mr. Roshin were to bid the halftime activities director, a job which he already does, he would get a $5,000 pay raise.
He did it with the assistance of a coordinator, and the coordinator does a majority of the job. So
Well, now, I do have, I mean, they do split the duties down the middle. I have
no, they don't.
after hour duties and that, Mr. Roshin has
Maybe after
presented
hour
that
duties.
information that they've split it and agreed that they would split it.
Maybe after hour duties, but not scheduling, not coordinating buses, not any of that stuff. So
Yeah, and of which he gets 4 periods to do that during the day.
and again, we have fixed that. We have made athletic director a salaried position. So really you need to kind of take that half-time, full-time out of it because other places like Columbia Falls do that job from 9th through 12th. Our activities director does 5th through 12th and gets paid $30,000 less for more work. And that is a salaried position. So it had to be listed as halftime because it's not a full 40-hour week at times job. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. So that is a salaried position.
Can I ask a question for clarification? So if Mr. Hodel, for example, had put in for the activities director and was up for it, and he retired, how much would he be paid?
The $50,000 that job was advertised.
Okay,
Yeah.
so, and would he be the athletic activities director for 7 through 12,
5th through 12th
5th through 12?
Mhm. Yes.
For everybody,
For everybody,
full time.
full time.
That's a good way to put it.
So, but the number, if you're comparing Columbia Falls, the number of students is far more there too.
Oh,
So it's not
absolutely.
apples to apples. You can say 7 through 12 with 300 students or 9 through 12 with 300 students. It's the same amount of students.
Correct, but we still play the same amount of games as Columbia Falls, you know, like our basketball, they're the same class that we are. So the athletic or activities director have to schedule the same amount of things. So their activities director is the 9th through 12th, where ours is 5th through 12th. So I mean, they do way more. And again, we're, in my opinion, getting a deal out of it. So
So a couple questions. It's halftime now, but then when he goes to full time, what's that wage?
again, it's a salaried position.
Mhm.
So his wage will be a contracted wage. It won't be more, it won't be less. It is a salaried position.
Can I see the matrix?
Yes, if you go to the business office, but that can be
The
provided
teacher's
to you.
matrix,
Huh?
the teacher's matrix.
Yeah, how did we get to the 50,000?
That can be explained to you in the business office. if
Well,
you
I can
request
explain
it.
it with a,
It's-
with an admin salary right here and a calculator or a CBA.
Well, it is not based off of
okay.
admin salary.
Oh, go ahead. So we took what would be on the teacher salary matrix as our base. And then we added your, let's see, responsibility factor and an experience factor. And that's how it came up.
Okay. How are we coming up with pay matrices without board approval or input?
They've been around for years. We
There's
don't
not
just
one
come
that
up with-
here. There's an admin one and there's a CBA,
Yeah,
there's a
they've been
para
around
one.
for years and
You
years
just
and years.
created this one.
We did. Based
just-
on what we've been doing, yes. So there is history to it, even though we've just created it.
So the board is going to let the district create salaries without board input.
That's why we're gonna vote tonight.
We're voting for a position, not a salary.
I mean, that is their job.
Now all of a sudden, but I think the board should think about that one. And the other thing I would like to point out is, there was, we approved resignations. We've never approved Mark's resignation ever. Policy says we do.
We hired him this year as assistant principal only.
That means he would have to resign from.
No, admin is yearly contract.
He would still have to resign.
You don't have to resign. It's a yearly contract.
Yes.
Yes,
the-
and
the
we've
policy states that you would have to resign.
And we have redistributed we have restructured the athletic director.
I would like every board member to consider the policy not being followed in resignations. They can tell you they're doing it. They're not following the book. They're not following policy. They can say anything they want. That they didn't write it in his job description or whatever. How come every other person resigns and we approve their resignation every other time?
Okay, so
But him this time.
that is something that we could look into and we can have better clarification on your answers. But at this point, we are voting
Well,
on,
it's delayed.
That's not deliberate, Cody. We are voting on the hiring of an athletic director. So at this point, that's what we're gonna kind of stick with.
That's it, one thing.
I have a question.
Go for it.
Does Liberty offer the same number of sports 9 through 12 that Columbia Falls does?
They have swimming.
Oh,
That's all.
I did forget about
We
that.
don't have,
Yeah.
but we. So, unless you're gonna swim in the Kootenai.
Probably swim pretty fast.
And they actually go, they were co-oping with Whitefish for swimming, they just split.
And additionally, your grades 5 through 12.
Yeah, we would offer way more, you have 5 through 12 than they do 9 through 12, absolutely.
Okay, well,
So I guess it's kind of, I don't know if it's a question or more of a comment, so. So the one thing I think was confusing with this whole position being offered and how, it seems quickly it happened. So I was under the same, like, kind of understanding that Cody was with that particular thing, that we were voting on just the job description, basically. And so when Tony said that, are we just voting on the job description? I took it, and I'm assuming Cody took it as, that's just this, we're not, nothing else. But the way, and I spoke with Tony about this, is like, this vote is only on this, but it wasn't talking about anything else that could or couldn't happen in the time frame or anything like that. So he was just basically saying, we're just voting on this, we're not voting on Nick. And that was the basis of what Tony was asking, because I was confused by it too, because it kind of seemed like, because that's something I need to learn more of as a board member is, how do all these hiring processes happen? Because this seemed to, happen quick. So I want to know what's the normal, time frame for a job being listed. How long is it listed for? Where's the listings going out? Because of what we did for the principal search this year, going much deeper than we have in the past. So are we doing that for all things or just a few things? And then also, I'm also understand that school's over, it's June. We have to start making all these decisions from the athletic side of things of where we're going to be going and how we're getting there and everything else immediately. So it's not like something we could set, no matter who was getting hired or who was applying, we don't have 3 months to track down and interview and do all that. So I understood that. So I did a lot of looking into that. So I think, as a board in general, I think we need to, and myself included, need to maybe ask better questions when, I had Wally for a teacher, and he'd always say there's not stupid questions, just stupid people. And so I'm always worried, but I mean, just asking those questions if we're not sure, maybe elaborating on it a little bit more, or if you know the answer, you're not, maybe all of us just kind of trying to explain it a little bit more, for the slow people in the room. So that way we could kind of make sure we're not having misunderstandings and stuff like this. So
I'm kind of confused, and maybe it's because I'm the old person on the board, the token. If you're approving a job description, what are you gonna do with it? You're
No,
gonna
yeah,
put it out there. You're
yeah,
gonna
I get
use
that.
it, aren't you?
I get that.
And I did think I had been clear from the beginning that we had to restructure because
yes.
we weren't.
And that's
paying
where
them.
I should have asked more questions, because I wasn't sure if we were, again, I've been on the board for a year, so just like, do we put the salary in there? Do we determine more of the stuff? Or we, and that stuff doesn't happen through here,
Right.
So, but in those situations, if I'm asking more questions or whatever, I could get more clarification or,
Yeah.
Well,
so-
and I also think we need to understand as a board, we hire the superintendent, we hire the administrators. We're hiring them and we're trusting them. We are not here to run the everyday things of the district. We are here to oversee that everything is done as clearly and as correctly as possible. None of us know that policy book by heart. I mean, I don't think. I don't know. Maybe some of you have been up late at night reading it. But there are many things that have been done in any line of work, whether it's a school board or a business. And when there's history behind things, that gives you some idea of where to go. So sometimes maybe we do commit a suicide. I don't know. To me, this was clear. but I would just automatically assume we're saying this is the format we want to use. This says what we want it to say. We agreed to it. So you don't just hang it up, you use it. We needed one. So,
Yeah, and I get that, and that's what I was just saying.
yes,
you know, it's just-
and I think when you said you need to ask questions, we do. We have that right.
So, the board packets are sent out 48 hours, at least 48 hours in advance, so that you can review them, and if you have questions, email, call, just let somebody know that you've got a question about it, so that it can either be resolved or discussed.
Yeah, no, I get those. Yeah, that wasn't the problem. It was just more this specific situation that I kind of extended it to the future just in case is what I was trying to do there.
Yeah.
So, but I just meant with that one, I was just,
Yeah.
from what Tony said and what we voted on, and again,
So at the time,
yeah.
that is what we were
Yeah,
voting on,
and
but we
I
did,
get what was happening there now. I just,
Yeah, we
at the
did have to
moment, I'm saying I
restructure.
understand how it could have been a misunderstanding.
Yeah. And I will do my best to try to be more clear on that. So, okay. Any other questions and comments quickly before we go into a vote? Okay, all those in favor of hiring Nick Raywards as our activities director, please raise your hand. All those opposed? You got that, Stacy?
I got it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. I'm gonna peek. Sorry, mine is not uploaded for some reason. Okay, moving on. We do not have any old business, so we will move on to new business. We have the consideration of the LCA bargaining agreement language. So that is the classified staff, so the paras and the secretaries. We spent a few hours in negotiations with them and we came to agreement on some changes.
I move that we accept the negotiation agreement with the paraprofessionals, the secretaries, the cooks. Have I missed anybody? I don't think so.
The LCA.
Well, yes, that's who I'm saying.
Second.
I have a motion by BG and a second by Rob to approve the LCA bargaining agreement language change. Any questions or comments? All those in favor, please raise your hand. All those opposed? Motion passed. Okay, then consideration of LEA bargaining agreement. So this was our teachers and stuff. And again, we went into negotiations with them over the last couple of weeks.
And we had a good time discussion. I so move that we accept the LEA negotiation agreement.
Second.
I have a motion by BG and a second by Rob to approve the LEA bargaining agreement language. Any questions or comments? All those in favor, please raise your hand. All those opposed? Motion passed. And consideration of AFSCME bargaining agreement language.
Guess what? I so move.
Did you read that?
No.
No, okay. I was like, actually should be on there.
I don't think we've ever.
So that's the janitors, right?
Oh, we haven't?
No.
Yes, yes, it is.
Okay,
That's-
so we
yes.
haven't actually met with them
We
then.
haven't,
I'm not
no.
really sure why that one was on there.
I don't
It's
think.
like, wait a minute.
I take back my motion.
Don't motion that.
Well, we negotiated with them. They said yes.
You didn't?
Rather than that, we-
Oh, okay, we haven't. No, so that could come up later.
No.
Okay, so then we are going to move on to the consideration of the 26-27 Title IX coordinators.
That's no longer going to be accurate, is it?
I don't think that's are we doing Janine one?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I need a motion, please.
I so move.
Thank you. And a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion by BG and a second by Walt to approve the 26-27 Title IX coordinators, Scott Beagle and Janine Kidwell. Any questions or comments? All those in favor, please raise your hand. All those opposed? Motion passed. Okay, moving on to consideration of disposal of surplus property. So I have to read this fun little thing. Resolution for disposal of surplus property, June 8th, 2026. Whereas pursuant to section 20-6-604 of the School Laws of Montana, the trustees of Libby School District Number 4 may sell or otherwise dispose of personal school property which has become obsolete, undesirable, or unsuitable for school purposes. Now therefore be it resolved that Libby School District Number 4 declares the following list of personal property as surplus property to be disposed of: miscellaneous books, furniture, equipment, and e-waste. Be it further resolved that said property may be sold by Libby School District Number 4 on an as-is basis without warranty. This resolution shall become effective 14 days after publication and posting as required by section 20-20-204 of School Laws of Montana. Any taxpayer may appeal this resolution prior to June 26, 2026 by filing a verified petition with the clerk of district court and serving a copy of such petition upon the school district. The petition shall set out in detail the objections of the petitioner to the adoption of the resolution or the disposal of the property. If no appeals are filed with the district court by that date, this resolution will go into effect. Elida Snow, Board Chair, Stacy Morley, District Clerk. Any questions or comments?
Would you mind reading that?
No.
Love hearing you read.
Okay, I need a motion and a second, please.
I make a motion that we approve the disposal of surplus property.
One second.
I have a motion by Rob and a second by Ron to approve the disposal of surplus property resolution as read. Any questions or comments? All those in favor, please raise your hand. All those opposed? Motion passed.
Why did you
Oh.
skip?
I did. I'm sorry. I do not have an updated one, so I'm
Yeah, I
trying
don't have an updated one either.
Okay.
That's what we were talking.
So we're gonna move back up to D. I apologize. Consideration of elementary principal and assistant principal job descriptions. So at not our last meeting, which was earlier today, but the one before that, we did go over those and made some updates. So in the policy meeting. So I do need a motion, please.
I move we accept the language and the changes in the new agreements for the applications for principal and vice principal.
I'll
Second.
second.
I have a motion by BG and a second by Walt to approve the updated job descriptions of elementary principal and assistant principal. Any questions or comments? All those in favor, please raise your hand. All those opposed? Motion passed. Okay, then the consideration of the Head Start Memorandum of Understanding.
Oh, I don't have that either.
I don't think there was any changes. That's just normal, right? No
Yep.
changes from last year when we went through it.
Will you read the whole thing?
No, it is pages long. We'd be here all night. Okay, I just need a motion, please.
I shall move.
Second.
I have a motion by BG and a second by Rob to approve the Head Start MOU. Any questions or comments? All those in favor, please raise your hand. All those opposed, motion passed. Okay, consideration of student activities account 284 for baseball. And this is new, so if they fundraise and,
The marketing account we did a couple weeks ago, now we need a baseball one because.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, got you. Okay,
I'm sorry, does that just cover concessions and things like that?
It's for fundraising.
It's all their fundraising.
It's all their fundraising.
That's an example of why is this year, they didn't have an account to buy uniforms and all that. So they borrowed money from activities, but when they did their fundraiser, they reimbursed it. But now they have a chunk of money they gotta put somewhere for next year. So the 284 account does that.
Every sport has.
Every
one.
sport has one.
Thank you.
A motion, please.
I'll make the motion to accept the student activities account 284 for baseball.
Second.
I have a motion by Walt and a second by Rob to approve the 284 account for baseball. Any more questions or comments? All those in favor, please raise your hand. All those opposed, motion passed. A motion to adjourn, please.
I so move.
You're so quick on that. I so second.
I have a motion by BJ and a second by Walt to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor, please raise your hand. All those opposed, motion passed. Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Thank you.
Okay, so I just have to print.
Done.
I was going to say, of all people, Mr. Odell, I loved it. Oh, yeah.